What up, Miss Sports Talk fam? And we are back. This is going to be our Week 15 NFL recap. Week 15 gave us a lot of epic comebacks, epic ending of games, um, and it was just an all around good Sunday, I feel. So we're gonna get right into it. So of course we all know we're gonna start with Thursday night football. We had the Rams versus the Seahawks. I picked the Rams to win 24-20, and that is not how it went whatsoever. Even after the Seahawks had three turnovers, they had a fumble and two interceptions by Sam Darnold. They still pulled a upset off in overtime and won 37-38. Even though there was a controversial call in that particular game, they still won 37-38. Excuse me, 38-37. They are now atop the NFC at 12-3, and the Rams once again had another heartbreak loss. It was just a great game. It was an epic game, and it was a great game to watch. So now we move on to Saturday. First, we had the Eagles and the Commanders. Pretty much, the Eagles took care of business, both on the ground and through the air. We also saw them be a little bit more balanced with Jalen Hurts also running the ball this past week now. And of course, they beat the Commanders. And with that win, they clinched the division, which also clinched them a playoff berth, and they are the NFC East champions for the first time back to back since 2004. 2004. So 21 years, they're the first back to back champions. So congratulations to them. Then we had the Bears and the Packers, which was another epic game, just like the Seahawks and the Rams was. I thought that the Packers had it all sewn up. Of course, we know Jordan Love left the game with a concussion. Malik Willis came in and he picked right up where Jordan Love left off. He also got a little bit banged up. His shoulder did. So we'll see what happens and who starts for them on this week, because they have a big game this week that has playoff implications for them. Caleb Williams, he is that man, and it is a difference in a year on what coaching makes. Last year, Caleb Williams, he looked uncommitted, he looked immature sometimes. And of course, Matt Eberflus, who is now the defensive coordinator of my lonely Cowboys, was the head coach. Insert Ben Johnson. Caleb Williams, he looks more mature, more poised, and he just has that offense at the helm. And basically, who would have thought that they would be where they are now, atop the NFC North and looking to it? And they're in the third seed right now for the NFC. So that was another epic game. Congratulations to them. The throw to DJ Moore was absolutely sick. Nixon had great coverage on him, but it was just an even better throw by Caleb Williams. So now we're going to move on to Sunday. Sunday, the Browns and the Bills. The Browns played better than I thought that they were going to play. They kept it close. I believe that the Browns is just, they're like the Las Vegas Raiders. They are just inept organizational wise right now. I do think that if they were to build around Shador, try to get a lot on the offensive side in the offseason, that they could probably go to at least the playoffs and have a winning record next year. But it all depends on whether or not Kevin Stefanski will be there, Jim Schwartz will be there, and Tommy Reese will be there, and Bubba Ventrone as their special teams coordinator too. So of course, looks like we're gonna have to wait till the end of the year in order to see that. But the defense, they could not stop James Cook III. He ran everywhere, he caught everywhere. And that was just it. Josh Allen did what he needed to do, but it was pretty much James Cook and the other supporting cast throughout the game, and the Bills won the game 23-20. Miles Garrett also got a sack, and so now he is 1 sack away from tying the record and then 2 sacks away from being the outright leader as well. We have the Cowboys and the Chargers. Pretty much, my Cowboys, their defense sucks. Unfortunately, the offense put up 17 points, but we were actually playing a decent Chargers defense this week. So Dak and them couldn't put up 30. But sometimes I'm like I said last week, if your defense gives up 30, you got to put up 40 in order to win. So I just wish Matt Eberflus would be fired. Everything that we need to get in the draft needs to be on the defensive end. For the Chargers, they are coming on at the right time in the season. They had a good defensive play, and of course, Marion Hampton was running, Lad McConkey, Justin Herbert was throwing everywhere. It was just a good game, all around game for the Chargers, and of course, my Cowboys are just the Cowboys. Next, we got the Jets and the Saints. The Saints continue to win. They won their third game in a row, so that is giving them a little momentum as to next year. Taylor Shuck is really turning out to be a good player. He is showing poise, he's showing maturity, making right decisions, and of course with Taysom Hill, who can be your quarterback, your running back, your tight end, your wildcat player. He's also helping Tyler Shuck out there as well. Chris Olave has had a great season. The Jets are atrocious on defense and don't look too much better on offense. So we'll see what happens with Aaron Glenn and them after the season as well. Kansas City and the Titans. Unfortunately, Gardner Minshew got hurt, and it looks that he tore his ACL as well. Alua Khan came in, didn't look too well either, and the Titans won. So we'll see what happens this week when they play on tomorrow on Thursday Night Football. But of course, no Mahomes, no Gardner Minshew. We'll see what happens. So we all love football and we'll be watching. We had the Dolphins and the Bengals. Quinn Ewers started. He threw, I think, 2 or 3 interceptions. I don't know if it was a good thing for them to bench Tua. I mean, he does lead the league in 15 with interceptions with 15, but the way Quinn Ewers looked, he didn't even look any better than Tua Tagovailoa looks. Of course, Devon Achane was running. So Joe Burrows and the Bengals, T. Higgins, Brown, uh, Jamar Chase, they just lit the Dolphins up, and that was just it for that game. The Vikings and the Giants. I thought that the Giants was gonna put up a better fight than they did. They did not. Vikings won that game. JJ McCarthy got hurt. He's actually going to be out this week, so Brosmer will be starting in his place. So we'll see what happens with Brosmer, and we'll see what happens with the Giants this week as well. So that was that. Carolina and the Bucks. This game was to decide who would take the lead in the NFC South. It was a great game, back and forth. And of course, Carolina came out on top with a Baker Mayfield throwing an interception. I think he thought that Mike Evans was supposed to run an out route, and he ran it in. So that's what happened on the last play in overtime. So Carolina won that. So they are now atop the NFC South at this time. So we had the Cardinals. So now we're going to move on to the late games, which is the 4 p.m. window. We had the Cardinals and the Falcons. It was the Cardinals and the Falcons. So I do not even remember who won. I think the Falcons won, if I'm not mistaken. But, it was the Cardinals and the Falcons. So, I mean, I think the Falcons played pretty good on defense and offense. But, of course, at this time, both of them are not going anywhere this year. The next great game that we had was the Broncos and the Jaguars. The Jaguars went to Denver and beat up on the Broncos. I really thought that the Broncos was going to come out on top because of their defense and their defense being able to get to the quarterback, and of course on their back end having Patrick Surtain and having Riley Moss and the other individuals who basically in the past game can lock your receivers down, but that didn't happen. Trevor Lawrence looked like Joe Montana out there on Sunday, and the Jaguars are for real. I am not just saying that because I live in Florida. I am saying that because I have watched them over the last several weeks continue to build and build and build upon each facet of the game each week. And on Sunday they put it all together. They completely stopped Bo Nix in the offense, and they also slowed down the defense and was able to put points up on them as well. So congratulations to the Jaguars. I've already done my list for my top 5 AFC teams and my top NFL teams, and congratulations to the Jacksonville Jaguars because they were at the top of my list for the AFC. And if I'm not mistaken, they also I don't think they made the list for my top 5 for the NFL, but they did make my top 5 for the AFC. So congratulations to them. Next, we had the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Detroit Lions. That game was pandemonium at the end. Hey, as a fan, I just was happy that Jared Goff and the Lions had a chance to even come back in the first place. And then you have 2 touchdowns that got called back for offensive PI. It was just crazy. But in the end, Pittsburgh won. They are now the leaders in the AFC North and hold their own fate in their hands as long as they went out and the Ravens lose. Next, we had the Las Vegas Raiders and the Texans. The Raiders played better than I thought that they were going to play. They were playing the Houston Texans, who have the statistically number 1 overall defense in the NFL. And for Ashton Genty to be able to run the ball the way that he did, he ran the ball and he caught the ball out of the backfield. I was surprised about that. It felt that some of the Houston Texans, they didn't stay in their gaps, they didn't stay in their lanes, and therefore that's how he was able to run the ball and able to catch the ball out the backfield. Also, Brock Bowers was able to make some catches, as well as Tyler Lockett and also Trey Tucker and Michael Myers. So it was a great overall day for the Raiders, but the Texans still came out on top 23-21. So I'm not worried about the Texans defense. As we all know, it can happen on any given Sunday. But the Texans offense, with all the weapons that they have, I am worried about them. I know Woody Marks did not play on Sunday. So I don't know if that makes a difference in the backfield for them. I mean, they still have a Boomawale, and they also have Nick Chubb, who used to be fierce in the backfield. So, and they have the new running back Jordan. So I don't know if Woody Marks not being out there made that big of a difference, but I am worried that they're not able to move the ball downfield, and they're able, when they get in the red zone, they're not able to score. They're scoring field goals and they're not scoring touchdowns, and that is not going to help them when it comes to the playoffs. So that was the Texans and the Las Vegas Raiders. Last game of the night, the Baltimore Ravens and the New England Patriots. I think I said this on multiple videos. I picked the Baltimore Ravens to win the Super Bowl this year. The Baltimore Ravens look like a shell of themselves on both sides of the ball. After Lamar Jackson went out with a back injury, I don't know why they were not running Derrick Henry in the fourth quarter. I understand he had a fumble, but I also understand that you're trying to ice a game. You're up by 11 points. And then the next thing I know, you let New England score 15 straight points and they beat you 28-24. I don't know who in their right mind would not have Derrick Henry on the field trying to ice the game and give him the ball to run the ball and run the clock out. Um, I'm not gonna say for anybody to get fired because I never played the game. I'm not the person that's in the locker room. But as a fan, it just seems different to me with the Baltimore Ravens this year. I know Lamar is hurt. I know that they've had a lot of individuals and pieces out on the offensive side and defensive side. It just looks like everybody's out there just going through the motions, is really not out there to play. Now, on the New England side, New England took a chance. They saw an opening, they took a chance, and like I said, they scored 15 unanswered points and won the game 28-24. Congratulations to them. And it was a great show by them. Monday Night Football, we had the San Francisco 49ers and we had the Indianapolis Colts. We had the wonderless Phillip Rivers and Brock Purdy on the other side for San Francisco. For a little while, Phillip Rivers and the Indianapolis Colts, they were keeping up with San Francisco, but the Indianapolis Colts defense couldn't stop a cold. So CMC and everybody else, George Kittle, Juwan Jennings, Demarcus Robinson, Kendrick Bourne, everybody got a catch, got yards, and the San Francisco 49ers let everybody know that they are for real. I did a video on my TikTok account saying that nobody's talking about Kyle Shanahan, and Kyle Shanahan being my coach of the year candidate because of all of everything that he and that team have had to go through this year. And they still have that team at 11-4. And if they play their cards right, they can still win the NFC West, and they also can still have the number one seed in the NFC, which means that the road to the Super Bowl, which is in the San Francisco 49ers home stadium in Levi, could be there for them. They could be next to play in their home stadium for the Super Bowl if they play it right. So it was a great slate of games. Of course, we start tomorrow with week 17. We have Thursday football on Christmas, and Merry Christmas to everyone who's watching this or whenever you watch it. Happy holidays to you as well. So that is my recap for this week. I am going to do another short video about the games for tomorrow and who I think are going to win. I mean, I know when the NFL made the schedule, they were thinking that these games were going to matter, going to have playoff implications. A lot of them don't tomorrow and Saturday, but hey, it is what it is. It's football. Any given Sunday, any given Saturday, Thursday, anybody can win. So we'll see what happens tomorrow with them, and then I'll be back with you guys next week for my week 17 recap. So until next time, you guys stay in the game.